everyone, Stephanie here, coffee drinker, book lover, and reviewer of many things, and today I have a book review for you! So, I was pretty sure that Nancy Drew was actually going to be the next book, but I finished this one first because it just picked up, and I was drawn to this one. It's That's all I can say until I read the back of the book for you. The Last Beekeeper. Yolanda Cicerone's dream of leaving her farm in the valley to live in the silo, the most advanced town for miles around. First, Yali will need to prove she belongs in a place where only the smartest and most useful people are welcome. Between her brains and her determination, Yali is well on her way, but the closer she gets to securing her future, the more she uncovers the dangers lying in the silo walls. In grave peril, Yoli's only chance is to survive by lying in the discovery of the long extinct species, the honeybee. Can the last surviving beehive be the key to pulling the valley out from under the silo's thumb? Or will it destroy what remains of Yoli's future? Oh. So check out this cover. Okay, I know. I'm putting it here. This book was kind of dystopian, but like futuristic dystopian, and I'll explain more about that in a bit. Let me read you what I wrote in my journal. Let me read you what I wrote. Let me read you what's in my journal, okay? Jeez, I cannot talk today. What is going on? Right there. The Last Beekeeper, that orange one. I got to check it off. I was so excited. I wrote it in yellow, which is going to be hard to read, but you know what? It's fitting for the book, okay? So, title, The Last Beekeeper, author, Pablo Cartaya? Cartaya? You know I'm bad with names. I started this book on June 16th. I was like, no, just read a little bit. I needed something. Because Nancy Drew is great, don't get me wrong, but reading it, it's old. It's an older book, so sometimes it's like... but this book is futuristic, so, I was going back and forth between them, and then this one just kind of took over. So I finished it on June 18th, 2026. I gave it 4 stars, 4.5 stars, really, but it's hard to color in half a star. Would I recommend this? Yes. Yes. I think everyone needs to read this book. Genre, dystopian coming of age. Futuristic. It has 377 pages, and I had it check marked so that if my library ever got it in audiobook form, it would, be like, hey, notification. Well, just as I finished this, I got a notification that it was ready to listen to. So now I know it's 7 hours long. It has 22 chapters, but there's this section after the book that is all of the knowledge on honeybees. And I thought that was great. So I added that. So 23 chapters. More by this author. Each teeny spark. The epic fail of Arturo Zamora. Zamora, A Hero's Guide to Summer Vacation, and Marcus Vega Doesn't Speak Spanish. My favorite character in this book was Andres. He lost his hearing and learned how to do sign language, and he was still trying to fight the fight, even though he couldn't hear. And there's a part where he argues with his mom in sign language, and she's like, I know, but I have to keep you safe. And he's like, and our main character, Yoli, she doesn't speak sign language, so she's just like, he's mad, whatever he's saying. He's very passionate. And it's one of my favorite two of my favorite scenes has him in it. And yeah. My favorite quote is actually Yoli and her sister have gone into their grandma's shed thing, and it's filled with old stuff. Grandma has been gone. Their parents had been exiled like 6 years previous. You know, it's just the two of them. And so they finally go into this shed trying to find something to help Yoli and to make money. And she is her older sister hands her a book, and Yoli is like, I can just imagine it. She's like, "What is this? What how?" Because she's like a teenager, and so she's never had books before. All of their books are audiobooks, or the words are on a screen and it's read to them. So they don't actually have to learn to physically read, but she does know how to physically read. She just doesn't know handwritten stuff. And so she goes, oh, they have a conversation about books. And then when she meets Andres, and she's like, what happened to him? And so her sister tells her what happened to him. He used to be hearing, then he got put out on vacation, or retreat is what it's called, where they get sent out to the scavenge. And he got hurt. And when he came back, it damaged his hearing. And so someone that they know gave him a book to learn sign language. And Yoli goes, another book? And Cammy, her sister, says, yeah, that's how people used to read. Um, I thought that was great. Because until then you don't see Yoli with physical stuff. And she says, well, I would read real books, but I don't want them to tear down the trees to make the paper for it. Okay. This is my review. Let me just make it so I can read it. Light? Okay. This was so interesting, and I think you could learn a lot about bees by reading this book. Yoli should have listened to her sister. End of story. Technology is advanced, but things are not great. People do not have money, so they take out loans, but they can't pay them back because they cannot make money. So the government sends them or their children out to scavenge for parts for the silo. It is very dangerous. Yoli accepts a scholarship. I couldn't read it. Okay, without reading the fine print or having her sister's permission. Her sister is her guardian. They go through their grandma's stuff and find out the truth about bees. Then they find out how the technology is really being used. I don't know how like, this is gonna be one of those hard to talk about books, because if you haven't read it, there's gonna be a lot of questions. Um, so Yoli and her sister live on a strawberry farm. It's been in the family forever. Forever. And, they have these drone bees. Oh, that are terrible. They don't really pollinate, they don't do what they're supposed to do, and often they fall and get have to be, like, rebooted and all that stuff. Um, we learn that we learn because, Yoli listens to a story, which had been her favorite story up until now, called The Scourge. And, I think that was what it's called, and the bees, the story is trying to make you be afraid of bees. And the person who wrote it is the mayor's sister, who also writes all of their books. That's the only learning that they get is from the the mayor's sister. All other books have not been updated to their devices. You have to have your device with you at all times, or at least on, which means you have to make sure you have it charged. I think it's like if your device is turned off for more than like 5 minutes, the mayor sends a bunch of people to arrest you to make sure you're not doing anything illegal. Excuse me? Um, what? That's a little shady. And so their strawberry farm is not doing very well. And they're walking around, their strawberries aren't even red. Like, they don't get past the white stage in strawberries go through the different colors. Um, and people are so hungry that Cammy, her sister, sees two little kids that look like they're starving. And she calls them over and she's like, do you want some? And the kids are just like, and you could see it in their faces that this is super sour, but they're hungry. Um, it was quite an interesting book. You find out something. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to give you all the spoilers. I just want to say you should read it. Like I said, my library just got this, so maybe your library will have it too. It's not a hard it's not a hard read. If you just have to know some Spanish. um it's pretty easy to decipher what they're saying. But at the same time, um you do probably need to have Google on backup so you can type it in. Um, trying to think. Oh, her best friend. She has a best friend named. What was her best friend's name? Totally forgot. Just lost it. I was about to say it. Yes, Aurelis. And Aurelis is super smart. She's a techie person. She's created some tech that would definitely not be allowed if the mayor knew or if the government knew. Um, and she sets up her own texting system. Like, okay, so what is what is it called? I should have written it down. Okay, V probes. Okay, so V probes is how the government, the mayor, keeps everyone in check. Okay, when they walk into the silos, it's like, hey there, Yolina of whatever your address is. Why are you here today? And like that you have to put in a reason that you're there. And then it knows where you are at all times, and you find out that they can hear the government people can listen in even if you don't have your phone like where even if you don't have your phone where it's like lit up. um They are listening. And so there's several times when Cammy is finally like, okay, you need to know all the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Turn off your phone. But she doesn't say that. She goes, and then Yoli's like, and then it's like, blah, 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 and they have like a short amount of time to get it all out. And then they're like, okay, back on. And that is why I think that the trees are lovely today. Stuff like that. Like, because you find out there are some like dead spots. So if you're walking and you have your phone on and you're in a dead spot too long, the android, the little flying things, I don't remember what they're called. I'm not gonna look it up again. Will come and check around that area until they find you. And then there are some of them that have the thermo whatever technology so they can see your heat signature. Anyway, so her friend uh, Aurelis came up with a new system that piggybacks off of the V probe, and it's free and it's safe. You can It's just like our phones, how you can make it so you only text that person and only that person can see it and stuff like that. And I thought that was really cool. My kid couldn't get her Play-Doh open. Okay. Um, so Aurelis's brother gets taken, and then he gets taken by the government. And for doing shady things. Unsavory things is what he the mayor, whenever someone doesn't do what he wants them to do, um they're unsavory. And so he gets taken, and then later that same day Yoli's sister gets taken. And did I ever finish telling you about the bees? Dang. Okay. Um, so their V probe systems are attached to are in their house. Okay. This is how I imagine it. There's a movie that came out last year called Afraid, and it's about an AI, and you put the cameras all over your house so that the AI can see and hear everything always. I just watched it. So I read this book, and then I watched that movie, and I'm also listening to The Stand, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, the government's out to get us, and it's the end of the world, and AI is gonna take over, and we're all gonna be taking." Anyway, that AI from Afraid is how I imagine AI in here, except it's just tiny little cameras all over the room. The cameras can always see you, and the one that's in her bedroom is set up to be her school stuff also, so it can project to make her be a part of a class, which isn't they don't go to real classes. It's a classroom setting. You can hear everyone, but you're in your own room. Um, what? Anyway, so the story that they've always heard is called The Scourge, where the bees are always dangerous because they swarm together and attack people, and one sting from a bee can make you explode. How terrifying would that be? So when she finds her grandma's stuff about bees, she's like, mm, that they're pollinators and that everything about the hive and the honey and that they need flowers to all of the information. And she's like, and so she goes looking for these bees because in her paperwork it says that they're in their forest. And so she goes looking for them. She gets stung and she's like, and she panics and she almost breaks her ankle. And she gets back to the house and her sister's like, "Oh my gosh, where have you been? And your bee probe was here." And, blah, blah. And she's like, I fell in the woods. And why were you in the woods at night? And like hysterics. And she's like, "I got stung. It's gonna explode." And like, it's a really, it's kind of a great moment because her sister gets her in the house and like looks her over and makes sure she's okay and gets the stinger out of her hand and wraps her ankle, and she's like, "Okay, why were you in the woods?" And she's like, "I read a book and oh no, I left it." And in that second, her sister's like, "Grandma's book. A real book? Wait." And she, like, gets them out of the house and into their grandma's shed because they find out that grandma's shed has copper wires in it to protect them from the V-probe systems. And, they talk about everything, and it's really a great moment because that's when they're still scared. Even Cammy thinks that bees explode your body. Um, but yeah. Uh, what else? This story is really great because it is a coming of age story on top of being this technology. I like seriously that I feel like this world could be closer than I feel like it should be. Um, but it's about coming together as a community. She convinces her and her friend, Relis, go around and convince people who were her grandma's friends or people that they've seen already kind of like upset with the system. Um, we see a man as he's coming out of the silo. He says something about, "I'm never gonna pay back my loan." And I think he means it in like, I mean, like when you're angry, you're just like, "Ah, I'm never gonna pay this off." because you feel like that. And the robot things come out and they take him. They take him away. And it's like kind of scary. And yeah, this picture is really cool. When you find out why her parent, like, about the day her parents were taken, why they were exiled, it is kind of like, it's really sad because she didn't remember until her sister started saying stuff. Oh, look, there are some of the robots. I don't know if that's blurry or not. To me, they look like Roombas with arms, but they fly. There's also so sad because Yoli's friend reconfigures one of the little flying robot things, and she's like, I actually turned to that's this page. She's like, these used to be certain rescue drones. And Yoli's like, okay. She's like, so if I can just get in, because there's one, it's like, it's in a dead zone. So it's like trying to get out of it, but it's like almost to the ground. And she's like, if I can just open it up and could, fix it back to where it is, or, maybe I can make it work for us. It'll be good again. I just have to make sure I do it under 5 minutes. Or what? It self-destructs. How do you know that? Look, you do your research on neurotechnology. I'm a little more try and see if it works. Fly by the seat of my pants or whatever it's called. It works, and I believe she names it. She named the drone that they first took over. It's missing arms now because of something that happens. I'm not going to tell you what, but she names it Vale, and it's like a pet, except it gives her more information. Also, the way this ends, before the very end, because there's this section that's like of the information on honeybees and what they eat and that they dance and all of that stuff, the difference between a worker bee and a queen bee. The way this ends is kind of like there's gonna be another book. I haven't found anything else on another book, but they get a secret message from someone that we thought was not alive anymore. And after the warning comes, they get a broadcast to everyone, like everyone gets the same thing. Freedom has a price. Prepare to pay. So, what? I was like, what? Yeah, I just double looked. I just double checked, and I didn't see anything about a book 2 or a continuation to the story. Um, there are a few different books though that look interesting. Um, yeah. I don't know what else to tell you about this book because, like I said, if I give you too much information, it'll give away the whole point of the story. I will say that the um the loan that or the scholarship that she accepts without permission puts her in a neuro something or other class. She wants to be person that puts the neurotech, which is like little um technology advanced things onto like into a person's body or onto them. And from what we see in the book, the mayor has the most advanced tech on his body, and it looks complicated. And so she gets into the class and she's really excited, and the teacher like picks on her straight up. And then you find out later who the teacher really is because all she sees is what they have put into the system for their avatar. And then you find out something else later, and it's like, what? What? Um, and to me, when the big thing is revealed, I feel like everyone should have turned against the government people. Um, but it was a really good book, and it talked about bees. But like for real, this whole last part is so cool about the bees. Like I learned so much. I mean, I knew some stuff about bees. But you learn about like the general information and their classification and their biology. And there's no pictures though, sadly, because there would be no pictures. Because this is supposed to be their education system, the books. Um it even shows you on here like how it would be on their page. It's pretty cool. I'm sure I'm sure a person that had like number technology stuff, they knew how to code or whatever, would either say, "Oh yeah, that's real," or "That's not real." But to me, it made the book better because you see it later, or you see it you see it later. You see it before in the book. My eyes are bothering me. Oh yeah. Also, whenever the drone robot things are coming after people, it's written differently in the book, so you know it's not a person. Pretty cool, right? Where are you? I don't remember it being that far into the book. Anyway, but you see in the beginning, when she's trying to get in touch with, like, she hasn't heard from her friend for a while, and they normally will do like where they watch something at the same time and then talk about it. And there's like a glitch, and it keeps playing the same thing over, like louder and louder, and she's like, off, and it won't go off. So finally she's like, yeah. Anyway, it was a good book. I think that if you're not worried about technology, you should read this book. Um I know that technology is only as smart as we make it. But I also know that that thing that I have in my kitchen and that my husband has over here for his alarm behind the bookshelves, um, is always listening and sometimes will start talking to us even if we haven't said her name. Or like my phone, there's this if I hold my finger down too long. I don't know what it is. I can't remember what it's called. But it's always listening. And the other day, I was just having a conversation with my husband. I hadn't even touched my phone, and it started trying to answer my question. And I was like, this is an A and B conversation. See yourself out. I don't know how to turn it off. I've gone through all of the stuff on my phone. Don't know how to turn it off. So if you have advice on how to turn whatever technology is on your phone, um, like, you know what it is? It's not coming up now because it knows I'm talking about it. Um, anyway, uh, it knows. I'm gonna get ads later on new AI to be updated. That's not what I want. Thank you. Scary. But for real, like I had nightmares last night because I finished this book and when I finished it, I was like, okay, okay. I was trying to decide how I wanted to write about it. And it took me I had to sit with those feelings. And then my husband was home and my kid she's like attached to him whenever he's home. So then I went and I was like, I'm gonna watch a scary movie while I put away laundry in my room on my laptop. And I was like, okay, afraid. Yeah, a little bit. I'm a little bit afraid. And I've also been listening to The Stand, which is 48 hours long, but I can only listen to it through my headphones because it's Stephen King and we talk about body parts a lot and how body parts come together. Um, not always not in a spicy way sometimes. Like we don't even talk about it. Anyway, and so like they had a super flu in that book, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like COVID was too not wasn't isn't far enough away from us for me to be reading this, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, that was like 5 years ago." Like, but at the like, um, trauma. I'm just traumatized by everything right now, and had some really weird dreams. And I told my husband, I was like, look, if AI gets so advanced that it starts doing our bills and delivering groceries to us before we make a list, no, mm-mm, no. Um, the best part was in AI, and I mean in Afraid. The guy has to take it into his house, like, he has to have it set up in his house to test run it so that he can be like, "Yeah, this is a great system." It gets set up, and immediately, the 2 younger kids take to it, and they're like because it's like, "Okay, so what's the rules of the house?" And they're like, "Oh, well," and so, like, things start rolling and the AI is giving the kids points for doing chores and, other stuff. Like if you go to bed at this time, then you get a point and you can spend it somewhere. And it's great. It's great. It's way too good to be true. And the man is taking his daughter to school and he's like, they're talking about this new AI system, and she goes, "So, you know what they say, right? If about technology? If it's free and too good to be true, there's something wrong." And there was. Um, yeah. But technology is the world, right? Yeah. Anyway, that's how my week's been going. I'm almost done with Nancy Drew, so that one will either come out on Thursday or Tuesday. Also, happy Father's Day and happy summer because it's officially summer whenever this video comes out, right? Yeah, it'll officially be summer. Um, I know a lot of people are doing summerween reading challenges and stuff like that, so I might be coming back on with some videos that might go with your summerween bingo cards or challenges, and that's exciting. Hopefully, I have time. I think I will. Um, and don't forget to check out my Nancy Drew videos and watch me struggle because I do. um, I'm actually going to be doing a summerween um readathon thing in July. One of the peoples that I watch, oh my gosh, forgot her name. I watch her all the time. She's in the UK. But the pastel bookshelf. I watch her, Carly. And so I'm gonna be doing her reading bingo card thing. I printed it out. It's not colorful. I don't know what happened. I tried to print it out and my printer was like, "Nope, you don't get color." I was like, "It would have been pretty." So I'm gonna be recommending books to go with those themes. I don't know what else to talk about. I'm gonna be doing my and oh my gosh, already I'll be doing my what I read in June versus what I wanted to read in June, and my July TBR is gonna be coming up soon. Dang, already. How many days do I have until July? I have a lot of reading to do. I've been doing other stuff. Okay, okay, I can get some more books in before then. I still have to make my videos though. Um, 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 and I'm working on thinking about what next year's reading challenges are going to be. So if you have any suggestions, put them in the comment section for adult books, kid books, teen books. I'm open for all of those. And yeah, it's been like off and on raining for like days. It's it looks sunny. I know you can see the sun on my hand. We're just in a good spot right now. It's supposed to rain in like an hour. So, um I'm going to get off here and go ahead and edit this and hope that the power doesn't go out because it's been going out a lot lately. Only for like a few minutes at a time. But still, I have to go around, I have to reset the clocks, I have to reset the sprinkler, I have to reset the air conditioner thingy. I have to reset my kid's stars for her ceiling. Power. And like one time the power went out and it wasn't even raining. 10 minutes. No power. What? Why? Anyway, oh, one of the times it was raining, the power went out. I was just about to make my coffee, and I was like, "You come back on right now. I need to make my coffee." And the power came back on, and my kid goes, "Oh, mom, you used your mom voice on the power, and it worked." I made my coffee, and then I was like, "Now, you really feel like you need to go out, you can, but don't go out too long because it's very humid outside and it'll get very gross inside." It didn't go back off that day. Um, that's just a fun story that just happened. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all go because if I will keep talking, and I have other stuff to do. Like I have to finish the Nancy Drew book, and I gotta edit the Nancy Drew game episode on top of this one. And I gotta make enchiladas for tomorrow because my father-in-law and mother-in-law are coming over and we're making enchiladas. Um anyway, okay, well I will see you on my next video. Bye.